I had spent most of my life putting everyone else first, especially my son, David. After my husband passed away when David was only 12, I dedicated every waking hour to making sure he had a good life. I worked 2 jobs, skipped vacations, and never bought anything for myself unless it was from the clearance rack. My dream was simple: see my son grow up to be happy, successful, and kind. When David graduated from college, I cried, not just out of pride but because I felt like I had finally succeeded as a mother. He got a job at a major tech company in San Francisco, married a woman named Rachel, and moved into a beautiful home in the suburbs. They had 2 kids, my grandkids. I loved them more than life itself. I visited every birthday, every holiday, and I sent gifts even when they said it wasn't necessary. But things began to change. At first, it was little things. Rachel would talk over me at dinner. David would take days to respond to my texts when I visited. I felt like a guest and no longer family. Still, I told myself it was just life getting busy. People change, families adjust. Then came that evening. It was Thanksgiving. I had baked my famous sweet potato casserole, David's favorite growing up. I wore my nicest dress, even got my hair done at the local salon. I drove 2 hours, humming carols, smiling at the thought of seeing the kids. But when I knocked on the door, Rachel opened it. She stared at me like I was a solicitor. "Oh," she said flatly, "you're here. Happy Thanksgiving," I said cheerfully, holding up the casserole. She didn't invite me in. Before I could ask what was going on, David appeared behind her. His face looked hard, cold. "Mom," he said, "you weren't supposed to come." I blinked. "What?" "You sent me the invite last month." He glanced at Rachel, then back at me. "That was a mistake," he said quietly. "Listen, ... You're not part of this family anymore. You need to leave." I felt like the air had been punched out of my lungs. I looked at Rachel, hoping it was some twisted joke. Her arms were crossed. She wasn't smiling. "David, I'm your mother asterisk." "I know," he said, "but things have changed. You're too much, too involved. You don't respect our boundaries. It's better if you stay away." He reached out and gently took the casserole dish from my hands. "Thanks for this. We'll still eat it." And with that, he closed the door in my face. I stood on the porch for a few minutes, frozen. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just stood there, wondering how the boy I raised with so much love had turned into this stranger. That night, I went home and didn't turn on any lights. I sat in silence until morning. I replayed every memory, every sacrifice, every bedtime story. I thought about how I used to skip meals so David could have seconds. How I gave up dating, gave up myself. I could have begged. I could have called, pleaded, sent letters, but I didn't. Instead, I did something I had never done before I started thinking about *me*.com. I joined a local community center. I signed up for watercolor classes and met a group of widows who were lively, bold, and full of laughter. I adopted a little dog named Peanut. I traveled to Maine for the first time, walked on the beaches, and read books by the fire. Months passed. One day, I got a message from David, a long one, apologizing, saying he realized how cruel he'd been, that Rachel was going through her own struggles, that the pressure of work and kids had gotten to them both. He asked if we could talk. I waited 2 weeks before I replied, not out of revenge, but because I needed to be sure. When we met at a cafe, he looked nervous, older. He had tears in his eyes. "I'm so sorry, Mom," he said. "I don't know what came over me. We miss you. The kids miss you." I reached for his hand. I forgave him. But I also told him things would be different now. I wouldn't be taken for granted. I would be a part of the family only if I was treated like *family*.com. And if not, I had built a life of my own, a good one.